Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we have a stack of source material that is, frankly, just astounding. We're looking at Official Information Act requests, OIAs, that weave a story stretching from a local property fraud in New Zealand, all the way back to major European fortunes and even World War II.
It's an incredible paper trail, and our mission today is really to follow it, to try and map out the architecture of what these documents allege is a decades-long asset extraction scheme.
A whole system, not just a one-off crime.
Exactly. The starting point is the conviction of a lawyer, Gerald Mackay, in 2016. But the sources immediately suggest that he wasn't the mastermind. They reframe him as a potential patsy.
A patsy. You mean a fall guy. That's a huge claim to make against a simple fraud conviction. What in the sources points toward the setup?
It's the orchestration. So McKay was convicted for a trust account deficit. But the documents highlight these really suspicious circumstances. His own account manager, a woman named Ann McAllister, was the one who allegedly moved all the records to a new system.
Just like that, the paper trail goes cold.
It's a classic move. That sudden loss of visibility is textbook for an operation trying to cover its tracks.
And the sources say this wasn't random. It was targeted at a specific, very valuable asset.
That's the core motive right there.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the 1986 quota management system.
The QMS, right?
Right. The QMS basically turned New Zealand fishing rights into a tradable property, a tangible asset worth millions of dollars. The target, the Janssen Fishing Company, was already in trouble by 1983, and by 1988, it was wound up by a company called Charles Ashton Limited.
Let me guess, Charles Ashton Limited.
Vanished. It was a shell entity, dissolved in 1989, right after the assets were secured.
The sources also point to the supposed victims, the conduits, as being maybe a bit more than just victims.
Well, yes. Take a man named Roy Evans. The investigation suggests he wasn't just some client who got caught up in this. His company was actually registered after the Janssen crisis had already started.
That's interesting timing.
It is, and get this, his trade is listed as a telephone line installer. In the pre-digital era, the theory the OIA requests are chasing is that this role could have provided cover for, surveillance or intelligence gathering.
Okay, so we have this incredibly sophisticated local operation. How do we get from Hawke's Bay to the global financial system? There has to be a link.
There is, and the sources name it. It's a company called Aquiline Holdings Limited.
Aquiline Holdings.
This was the bridge, the vehicle where professional investment capital and funds from these alleged criminal proceeds were commingling, sloshing around together.
And the shareholder list for Aquiline is pretty revealing.
It's jarring. You have the city's professional elite trustee companies, the older Shaw family accountants side by side, with key figures from the Infinity Foundation gaming fraud.
We're talking about Peter Dennehy, lawyer and coroner, and Rodney Green, a big property developer.
Exactly. It suggests a total breakdown of the firewalls you'd expect between charitable funds and, elite private investment.
And this is where the paper trail goes global. We start seeing freedom of information requests targeting regulators in Belgium.
They're following the money internationally. The requests are aimed at FPS Finance and the Financial Markets Authority over there. They're looking specifically at the Janssen Pharmaceutical Family's holding company, QRSNV, and a businessman named Ludwig Kriel.
The Janssen family.
Yeah.
As in the pharmaceutical giant. That's a massive leap.
It is. The hypothesis is that this Aquiline Bridge in New Zealand connects all the way back to a potential transfer of wealth from alleged World War II-era entities flowing through those Belgian corporate structures.
That's an incredible historical claim to investigate.
It is, which is why the requests don't stop in Belgium. They go even deeper into the archives. They're pulling records on the 1947 Winnicaré case, which was another much earlier land fraud in Hawke's Bay.
And from there,
the searches go to German, Swiss, and UK archives. They're looking for financial records tied to executed Nazi war criminals, people like Otto Ollendorf and Oswald Pohl.
and trying to link them to Belgian industry and eventually to QRSNV.
That's the thread they're trying to pull.
So after all that, what does this actually mean for you, the listener? I think this incredible breadth of inquiry just highlights how seemingly isolated local events, like a lawyer's fraud conviction in a small New Zealand city, can have these deep international historical roots.
And it leaves you with a really provocative question to think about. What kind of financial architecture, what kind of system could possibly connect the fraudulent takeover of fishing quota in the 1980s with professional investment vehicles in the 2000s, and then with alleged financial networks tied to figures who were executed in Landsberg prison back in 1951? What system could be that resilient and that powerful for that long?